Hello and welcome to W5DPH YouTube channel here. Today we're going to be doing a little project here. It is the KM6LYW Radio DigiPi project. And what we've got here is a pre-made Linux image that you can flash to a micro SD card. And this program, this image has all of the digital modes, practically all of the digital modes that you could use in ham radio, all built into this one image. This image will run on Raspberry Pis from, I believe, from the 3, the 4, and the 5, and also the Pi Zero. In order to get this image, you have to go to digipi.org and you click the download button. There is one caveat though. You do have to have a password, and the password is currently available to Patreons. So you will have to go to KM6LYW's Patreon page and become a Patreon. And once you are a Patreon, then you will get the username and password that you will put in right here, and then you'll be able to download. I've already downloaded it for the sake of this video. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel or back. Like I said, I've already downloaded the image, and I'm going to save you a little bit of time on the video because burning the image to the micro SD card does take quite a bit of time. And how I did it, since I'm using a Mac, is I use the Raspberry Pi imager. And so once you have selected your micro SD card that you're going to use, you need to plug that into your computer. And so I've already done that, and I'll just kind of go through it with you right now. I'm not going to go ahead and burn this, but I am going to go ahead and plug it in. So what you got to do is you got to choose your Raspberry Pi device. So today we're going to be using the Pi Zero 2W. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit choose OS. Okay. I'm going to choose OS, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to say use a custom image from your computer. Now I don't think you're going to be able to see my screen, or maybe you can here, but you can see, if you can, I've got the DigiPi image 1.8-1 already downloaded here. It's an 8 gig image, okay? So your card is going to have to be at least 8 gigs to make this work. So you go ahead and hit open. You go ahead and hit choose your storage, and in this case I already have my SD card over there. Now this is just for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to go through this because it does take quite a bit of time. So you go ahead and click that, and then you hit next. Now what you need to do here is you need to go ahead and apply some custom OS settings, okay? You can clear them if you want, but I'm going to tell you it's a lot easier, especially running your Pi in a headless configuration. So what you'll have to do is click Edit Settings, and under here you will set your username and password, which is fine. Username, Pi, password. Usually this is left as the default. You can change it to anything you want. Here's the important part. You need to set your SSID to your wireless network that you have. You'll have to type it in here, okay? Type it exactly how you connect to it. TP link _47D6 happens to be this one here, and then you'll type your password here. Whatever that password happens to be, you'll type your password in there. The other things you can do, be sure to enable SSH. That way you can get into your Raspberry Pi over your network through a terminal or a shell if you're using Windows. And then you can set some other options here. Now keep in mind, this is just the Raspberry Pi imager, and I am running this on a Mac. So you'll hit save, and then when you're done, you'll hit yes. And then it's going to say, are you sure? Now I'm not going to continue on with this because I don't want to mess this image up because I've already flashed this image to this SD card. So I'm going to go ahead and hit no, but you'll hit yes, and then you'll continue on. And it will take some time, and then once your image is done, then you will want to put that SD card into your Pi Zero. And we will look at the Pi Zero and the cables and the adapters that comes with it. And then we will look at we'll turn it on and we'll look at the configuration. So I'll be right back. Okay, so what we have here is Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. Now the actual Raspberry Pi that's bought separately, and I bought a kit that has all of these cables and adapters. So here you have a power cable with a switch, you have this USB adapter, and you have the mini HDMI adapter. The kit also came with the GPIO pins and the heatsink and the case, so you can get all this on Amazon. You'll have to source that yourself. Another thing that you'll have to get, and some of your kits will come with it, it will be an adapter such as like this here. It's probably not going to focus real well. This is a USB to micro SD adapter. This is what you'll use to etch your card or build the image. You can see here on the end it has the micro USB, or excuse me, micro SD card in there, and that's what you'll use. We'll go into the flashing process here in just a minute, but for this particular project I had an old 8 gigabyte SanDisk micro SD laying around, and then I just use this adapter here to plug in. This particular one does USB-C and regular USB-A. So we'll get into flashing the image on there in just a moment. Okay, so what we've got here is that we've got the ICOM 705, and we have our Raspberry Pi. We have the USB adapter, and it goes into the side, the micro USB on there. I've also got just a coax here, looped up, because it's very long, and it just goes over here to my radio switch, normally running the 7610. Now this is going to be running on into the, it's going to run through the amplifier, which we won't be using, and then it'll be going through the HF auto, which will tune the antenna. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. Should turn on just fine. And I should have already plugged this in. Give me a second. You can hear that. Oh man, they're talking on 7200. So we'll just go down here to 7290. Let's see if the traffic net's on. And I don't have a way to key this at the moment, so I'm not going to bother with that. But there's 7290. It is on, and we'll get this Raspberry Pi plugged in, and I'll come back and we'll show you the interface on your browser. Okay, we're back, and what I have here is we're going to try to get into the DigiPi. So if you remember back whenever we flashed the drive, flashed the SD card, I had the ability to put in the SSID and the Wi-Fi password. Well, that doesn't always work. So once you get that image flashed, you can go ahead and just boot up your Pi, and if it fails to connect to the hotspot, then you can connect, and you won't be able to see it on my on the screen here, but you can connect to the DigiPi. It goes into an access point mode. So, and on this digipi.org website, it tells you just select DigiPi hotspot and plug in the password A through J, and then it will go. And so then you have to go to this address here in your browser. So that's what we're going to go to now. I'm going to tell it just to go to address in a new tab. So here we are in a new tab. And so now it's asking for Wi-Fi setup. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I thought that possibly by putting that in there with the Raspberry Pi imager that it would do that, but apparently not. So it's no problem. Ours is TP link TP -LINK. I think that's how it is. You have to type it in exactly, and then you do _47D6. Okay, _47D6. Oh, let's do D6. _47D6. All right. TP link _47DC D6. All right, and I'm just going to tell it to choose my own here. SSID, it's 209-248-36, and I'm just going to hit submit. I'm going to tell it to, I'm going to tell this browser, I don't need to do that. All right, so it says press reboot for the changes to take effect. So I'm going to go ahead and do reboot here. And so now here in a minute, we're going to have to go to DigiPi / here in a couple of minutes. So it's going to take just a minute for this thing to reboot. I'll go ahead and exit out of this page here, and we'll have to go ahead and I'll just have to move back over to my normal TP-Link network on my laptop here. You won't be able to see this, and I'll just do that, and we will wait for the Pi to reboot. So in the meantime, I'm going to flip over to another screen in the background here and do a refresh and see if I can't see it come up on the network. And sure enough, it did. It come up on the network, IP address 131. So I'm just going to flip back over here to the DigiPi here, and we'll now it does say that you can go to, we might just try this because I haven't tried http://digipi and get rid of the .org and put that there, and let's see if it just comes in. And it does not, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to go here, just .131, and this will take me right here to one of the main config screens in the DigiPi. So now we are in the DigiPi. We haven't set up anything. I'm going to go ahead and turn this TNC and APRS iGate off because it does have access to the internet now. So I'm going to just go ahead and turn that off. Okay, so what we will do here is we'll click the initialize button. All right, our call sign. All right, so I'm going to put in my call sign. You'll put in yours. And my WinLink password. I'm not going to type that on the screen here. I already have this set up on another one. APRS, grid square. You can look me up. Echo Mike 04 Uniform November. I'll go ahead and do a locate because I just don't really know, but I'll just put in here Lawton, Oklahoma. It'll be close enough for our demonstration purposes. And you just copy these over. Oops, excuse me. Copy these over into here and hit in, and then longitude, and we'll just do this, Control C, and we'll just paste that in there. We'll put a W and get rid of the negative because it doesn't do that. All right, we'll go ahead and use FL rig. No, I don't really use FL rig. Okay, so this is how you need to, you've got to do this step to connect to your USB radio. So see the rig list. Now it's going to tell you ICOM is TTYACM0. Okay, well that's fine. We gotta scroll down through here and find ICOM, and we gotta find the ICOM 705. You see the ICOM 705 is 3085. Okay, so we can come back over here, 3085. Now the ICOM 705, it says 115200. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a default at the moment because I'm pretty certain that the ICOM 705 will operate on 115.200. Now, if you have a 7610 or a 7300, I think you're going to be limited to this 19.2. I'm not sure why on that, okay? I do have it set up on my 7610 and I had to use 19.2. But once you have all of this set up here, now you go ahead and hit initialize. It is going to require you to reboot. So we'll go ahead and reboot. You can go ahead and exit out of this screen and you can come back to this screen here. Now we'll just be here for a second and we're going to wait for the Pi 0 to restart. I'm just going to go ahead and tell it to refresh. It's telling you right now that it's down. We'll go ahead and do this again. Now I'm going to go over here to my router just real quick and see. Nope, it came up in the background. So there we go. We're back up. And let me flip back over to my DigiPi window. Now we're back on. Okay. This is where all the magic happens right here. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use FT8, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit on, and we're going to let it work its magic here. Here in a second, this little box here will turn green, and then when it does, then FT8 will be on, and we can go to FT8. I'm not sure, I've never seen this red before. That's very strange. I'm going to go ahead and click off. I don't want the TNC and APRS iGate running. Okay, let me go ahead and click the on. Maybe this thing wasn't fully booted up yet whenever I started to get into WSJTX. It's a rather large program to be running on a Pi 0 in my opinion, but now you can see it's green. And now all we got to do is click WSJTX right here. It's going to open up a new window in your browser. And it's going to say, wow, rig control error. So now you're going to have to go and do your configuration. Now this is a one-time configuration. And I might also add that this is a one radio digital interface as well. You can't really have two or more radios interfaced with it. So we're going to go here, ICOM 705. Hardware, this needs to be none or default. I'll just put it on none. Cat, we'll use data packet mode, and split operation, we'll just hit none. And let me go here and make sure. Yeah, that seems to be it. So let's just test the cat here real quick. Now, if it's successful, yeah, so we're not successful here. Let me go down to 19200 and see if that works. And that's not working either. Okay, so we obviously have some sort of, let's just go to default on that. And yeah, okay, ICOM 705 cat control. I'm not really sure why this is not working. Oh, maybe because the radio turned off. Let's power back on the radio. Strange. Okay. I might end up having to actually power cycle the radio, and I'm going to have to probably exit out of this. I'm just going to close this window, and I want to power cycle the radio. We might even have to reboot the Pi. This is kind of the first time that I've had this issue. So I'm going to go ahead and turn back on the radio. The radio's back on, and I can go ahead and exit out of these, and I'll just go ahead and do a reboot on this real quick, just to make sure that the ports and things are refreshed in the Pi itself. So we're kind of learning this as we go along. I don't have a lot of experience with the DigiPi software, but as you can see, it's actually really simple to use. So I'm going to go ahead and have it turn my heater off here. It gives me a lot of background noise. Okay, we can see that WSJTX FT8, it went off, and it's the Pi is still rebooting. Now the Pi Zero is kind of a slow computer, so you will have to be patient with that. You can hear the radio in the background. We're on 40 meters. My antenna's actually tuned to 20 right now, so maybe we can go to 20 meters. 14,300. Okay. Okay, so it's still saying that it's rebooting, so we're just going to go ahead and refresh this. In the meantime, I'm going to flip back over to my router and make sure that it didn't change the IP address on me. Give me 1 second on this. Network, LAN, DHCP list, 131. Okay, we're still there. Okay. All right, well, it still says it's restarting. It's really strange. Okay. Just going to go ahead and close out of this window. Just open up another tab. And we'll just go to 131. And as we can see, now we're back on. Okay, very good. All right, we will go to I'm going to try this because I don't remember having to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and try turning on WSJTX again. I don't know if I have to turn on rig control or not. For some reason, I don't think I had to on my Pi 4. But as you can see, WSJTX has come on. All right, so now we'll click this. This is going to take us right to WSJTX. Failed to connect the server. Okay, that's strange. It says it's on. Let's try it again. I'll be. I've never seen this before. Okay, well, what is going on here? Well, I'll go ahead and turn on rig control. You have to have rig control anyways. Well, when you turn on rig control, it turns off WSJTX. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. Okay, TNC and APRS iGate is off now. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and reinitialize WSJTX. Now, one thing I would like to say is this DigiPi is actually running faster on this Pi Zero than it does on my Pi 4, and I don't know why. Now, if this times out, okay, so it didn't time out this time. Okay, here we go. It's saying it's having problems connecting to the it's very strange. Never had an issue. Let me just make sure that you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this USB cable out real quick. So give me just a second. I've got a couple of these USB cables that came with like little lights that charge up little lights. And this actually may not be actually, I've got a real USB cable here. In fact, it's even got a toroid on it. I'm going to just use it. I know it works. It's got a really nice toroid on it, and we probably have to end up rebooting this thing again, but we're going to try it anyways. Okay, so WFT8, it crashed, it looks like. Let me go ahead and just reset it. I'll turn it off. Okay, very good. So now that I was using the wrong cable, I do have a note on this one here on the radio on the icon that says USB COM. So that was the problem with that. So keep in mind some of your micro USB cables they may just be charging cables and not true USB cables. So we're going to turn on WSJTX on FT8. And if it comes on, I'm pretty certain, yeah, my radio flip-flopped here, and it is now on. So I'm going to go to WSJTX. It should connect, and it says 14300. Perfect. Exactly where we need to be. We're going to go here, 14074. Okay, so one other thing that we're going to have to do is we need to make sure that the audio is configured, because there's no point in, obviously the audio is configured because we're getting that. So this is very good. I'm going to go ahead and do an erase, and I'm going to do a tune because I need my auto tuner to go ahead and tune. So if we'll just throw a carrier there. Well, it's close enough. 14075, 1.1 match on the auto tuner. Okay, well, very good. So what you can do here is you can kind of drag this up a little bit, and now you can see your waterfall. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I'm going to go ahead and just double click this and see if it'll go ahead and transmit, and let's see if we can make a short FT8 contact here. Oh, I thought I double clicked it. Oh, I know what I got to do. In the settings of WSJTX, you do have to tell it to transmit on double click. If you don't, then you will end up not transmitting. You have to get this set up initially. Now, I'm just kind of showing you how easy it is to get going. I'm just going to tell it to do that, and then we're just going to throw a CQ out here right there around 2600. Well, let's go down a little bit. Usually have a little better luck down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it to enable the TX there. Now, one thing on this here, I am just operating off the battery, so I'm only sending out 5 watts. And I have over 100 feet of coax going out to a DX commander. I'm going to go ahead and grab my power cable here and kind of plug it in off, or of course you can't see it, but I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my battery junction box over here, my battery bus. Make sure I get on 10 amp, and we'll go ahead and let it throw out a full 10 watts, and it's not really it's really not throwing out any power that I can see, and the reason probably is we don't have the audio out set up properly. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it double click on that. I like that. Audio is what we need to do. It should be set up properly. Let me just double check something in the radio real quick. because the last time I used this, I used it with my SDR control. Okay, so modulation input. Okay, data mode is WLAN, so I need to put that over on USB, and now it'll work. Okay, we're good there. And that's why we didn't get a carrier, but we've got a good carrier out there now. All right, very good. Okay, and another thing is we don't need this split on. Oh, wrong button. Using my Mac shortcuts there, which don't work. All right, split operation is none. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and just call CQ here and see if we can get a. Let's see if we can make a contact real quick, and then we'll end the video. You can kind of hear it in the background. You can see it and hear it. Now, this is all operating through your web browser, okay? This is all operating on a web browser. My laptop is wireless, obviously, and my DigiPi is wireless. So the DigiPi is talking to my laptop through my wireless access point. All right, so here we go. Now we are running 10 watts. Actually, looking at my watt meter, 8.34. I could probably turn that up over here if I just move that up a little bit, but you kind of get a little bit of distortion, or you can. So I usually just like to run it with the ALC down pretty low. I don't like to run the ALC high. Okay, so we've got this coming in. Now he didn't respond. He came in with a pretty good signal, one, and oh, there he goes. Okay, so I've never really seen this happen before. It's almost like it's decoding. Strange. We'll go ahead and this is like it's a little bit behind. We'll go ahead and it's like I sent the RR73, but he didn't get it. So I'll go ahead and send him the RR73 again. We'll go ahead and complete this transaction here. And we're about done. 7-3. There he is. Okay, well, very good. We've completed the first FT8 transaction here. Transmission successfully on the DigiPi. Pi 0, as a matter of fact, Pi 02. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. Now, we did do some setup on WSJTX. You do need to tell it to save configs here. If you don't, what's going to end up happening is the next time you come into it, it won't work. Okay, so please reboot or shut down gracefully. So now you can just reboot or shut down. We should be able to come back into WSJTX, and it should have, yeah, I see it's up just fine. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. I'll show you one other thing. I'll go ahead and turn it off. It's going to go ahead and shut that that server down. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on. It's going to restart it. Okay, it's showing green. Yep, I heard my radio click. It seems to always click on that. And so now you can see we've booted back into WSJTX. We have signals coming in. Not sure why it doesn't save the screen, but you've got your graph and it's working. So the decode is a little slow, and I'm not sure why. But anyways, you can still have a lot of fun with this. I'll go ahead and turn this off, and we'll do a shutdown on it. And that'll end that. So I hope this has been a neat little tutorial on DigiPi, kind of getting it set up from basically nothing to being on the air in, just quite literally just a few minutes. So not very long at all, very easy. The DigiPi is now shut down. The screen, it doesn't really refresh. It'll just keep saying shut down or shutting down a DigiPi. And then you can just unplug it after about a minute or so. You don't have to worry about file corruption or anything on it. So anyways, I hope you find this video useful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But by all means, KM6LYW has done a very good job at making this image available to hams. And there's a whole bunch more that you can do with it just besides FT8. You can do WinLink email. I've actually done that. You can do APRS. You can do the APRX web chat. You can do slow scan TV. I've done that. And then all the other digital modes like FL Digi, JS8 call. You can do that all on a Pi Zero. So pretty neat little image. And I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one.